Peach Pundit, the podcast, is a conversation filled with the personal opinions of the people who are participating. Any view or opinion expressed belongs only to the person who expressed it and not with anyone with whom that person is professionally affiliated. It is the very first Peach Pundit, the podcast for 2026. And that means that the legislature is back in session, making Mos Eisley look like your local First Baptist Church.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
My name is Scott Turner. That is Buzz Brockway. I tell you, Buzz, we've been separated for quite some time. You know, you had stuff going on in December. I had stuff going on in December. I got sick last week. We were going to record our prediction episode. Obviously, first episode of the year is always our prediction episode. We were going to record. I got incredibly ill last week. Started with a case of heartburn.
Ooh.
And this is my public service announcement to begin the year to our dear listeners, dear readers. Don't take more than the recommended dosage of Pepsid. It will cause you to vomit.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah.
Those little the little small print on the back of the bottle. Pretty good advice, huh?
This is a pretty bad case. I'll just take 2. You don't want to take 2. Trust me on this. Lessons learned the hard way. Chapter 1,000,000 in the book of Scot. We have a lot to talk about, but we have no agenda.
So who knows what's going to happen here?
Right, because the legislature is in session, and I have spent the last 2 days under the gome of Dole and trying to figure out what's going to happen this legislative session and getting good things started and giving feedback on others and trying to be of service to our legislators.
Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting vibe down there right now.
Is it really? I haven't been down there yet.
You should come on down. It's a very interesting vibe. For those who've been following along on my Facebook and other socials, they will be familiar with the fact that I have written a book called The Conservative Case for Ranked Choice Voting. Every Republican member in both chambers has received a copy of that book.
Nice.
And the number of legislators have come to me saying, "I got your book." That was really cool.
How many autographs have you signed, Scott? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we don't take photos and we don't do autographs.
Come on.
So, there were a couple of people who have asked for an inscription, and I've indulged them reluctantly because that's a weird kind of thing. It's not a book I would ordinarily write, except for the fact that ranked choice voting is not the devil, and somebody needed to say, "This is my role in politics." To say the thing that needs to be said that nobody else wants to say. It's not the devil. Just don't tell the Georgia Republican Party. But all I'm doing. Is
they released their
elected.
They released their legislative agenda via press release again, huh?
They did, and I felt like at least 2, maybe 3 of their agenda items were a direct shot at me. I'm not gonna lie.
The one about banning ranked choice voting sounds like a shot at you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. There are a couple more on there, and I'm not even going to bother with it because they haven't spoken to members of the legislature about their agenda. They just, again, as you said, they put it out by press release. How were your holidays?
They were really good. I got sick, just a cold, kind of a bad cold. Unfortunately, it was a couple of days before Christmas, so Krista and the family went up to Blairsville, where her family is, and on Christmas Eve rather, I came up on Christmas Day and trying to give myself one more day to recover, and had a great time. Had a really good time. It was good restful time.
Yeah, my mom came.
All right.
And she wants to move closer to us.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I found this little place that's not too far from you. It's just on the other side of the border into Alabama. And I said, "Mom, I'm not going to allow you to move to Alabama." She goes, "Oh, don't judge." I'm like, "No, no, you don't understand. I think I might have outstanding warrants in Alabama." And Mom's like, "Wait, what? Are you serious?" "No, Mom, I'm kidding. I don't have outstanding warrants. I once got a speeding ticket there and I paid it, but that's it. But I'm still not going to let my mom move to Alabama." And I mean, the jokes just kept coming, and they just flowed from me as like like just a what's that thing of stream of consciousness.
Hmm. Yeah.
My stepfather, who's from England, asked, "What is Alabama known for?" And I had a lot of rude things to say. But once we got there, she saw it. She did not fall in love. So my mom will not be moving to Alabama, and we're trying to convince
Right.
her. North Georgia, there's probably
Yeah.
a place for you.
There's some
We
nice
can find.
spots there.
She
Yeah.
loves the mountains. She's tired of the Florida heat, and she wants to be
Hmm.
closer to family. So come on,
There,
mom.
there you
Come
go.
on. So that was our holidays. It was great to have mom here for a while.
Hmm.
We do have a packed show because even though there's not an official agenda, there's a lot to talk about with the legislative
Right.
session starting and all these other political things. So we're going to get to that right after this.
Golden Retriever Rescue of Atlanta, GRRA, is an all-volunteer, tax-deductible charitable organization. They are dedicated to providing veterinary care, comprehensive evaluation, and foster and adoptive homes to golden and Labrador retrievers who are abandoned, mistreated, neglected, or left in shelters throughout Georgia. We encourage you to visit their website grra.com and help connect people and dogs that need each other in their lives. You truly can make this world a better place by helping find homes of gold for these golden-hearted pups.
Americans for Prosperity, Georgia, champions economic freedom and individual liberty across the state. They advocate for lower taxes, less government spending, and regulatory reform while mobilizing citizens. That's you. To engage in the legislative process. Beyond just economic issues, AFP Georgia is committed to more choice in K-12 education for all students and removing government barriers in healthcare like Certificate of Need. To learn more about Americans for Prosperity, head to americansforprosperity.org. Select that Georgia chapter and go sign up. They have some great events. They've had this Peach State Playbook where they're having legislators come and talk within their own districts, almost town hall style, where it's sort of moderated, but opportunity for you to meet your own legislators. They're doing great work at AFP. Love those guys. Thank you for being Patreons to the Peach Pundit podcast. If you too would like to be a Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/peachpundit. Sign up for any one of our tiers. Starting at the $5 level, you get access to Peach Pundit, the Signal Chat, which today, at one point, I looked down at my phone and I had 64 notifications.
Yeah.
From people chatting about various things, and I haven't really even had time to catch up to what's happening in there. We're building a community there, and I'm really proud of it because everybody's getting along. Even when we disagree on things, it's with good humor. Come check it out. $5 a month, patreon.com/peachpundit. So, Buzz, it's that time of year again where we make our predictions for the year.
Right.
I had a notebook. I had a couple weeks ago, I'd gone back and watched the previous episode. I don't remember all of our predictions, and the notes that I took are currently sitting in the Capitol and in my notebook that I left down there because I rushed to get home to record tonight. So if I felt like we had done better than we had the previous year, I think all of us had at least 2, if not 3 or more of our predictions correct. So we're last year we struck out pretty heavily, I think. But this year we
a lot
did
of
pretty
swing
good.
and
This past
misses.
year, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
But if again, go look at the first episode. This is a tradition now, 3rd year running, 3rd annual prediction episode.
I remember one that I know I absolutely whiffed on this time last year.
You had 2. One was about Doge.
Yes, I thought Doge was actually going to do something, and boy, was I wrong.
We all really wanted Doge to do something, though, didn't we?
That's my problem with predictions. I get very hopeful and optimistic, and
Doge, like the concept of Doge, is so incredibly needed.
Yes.
But to your point, they could have done some things
Mm-hmm.
if Doge had met its promise. This Minnesota scandal with the $9
Oh, yeah.
billion would have been caught by Doge.
Yep.
But I don't know if they just weren't given the time, the tools, or the people needed to go and find that. It obviously what happened in Minnesota and the Leering Center, where there are no kids, and the daycare
Yes.
centers, and they're taking money.
Yes.
Like all of that happening. And if you're not familiar with the Leering Center, it was supposed to be the learning center.
Yeah.
But nobody ever went to check the facility out, and they had misspelled learning as leering. Talk
Right.
about creepy.
Yes.
So, but you're right. It had so much promise. And honestly, I think the Minnesota thing shows that we do need something like Doge
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that the money is going to where it's supposed to be going to,
Absolutely.
if nothing else. So, yeah, I think you've missed the ball on that one, but I didn't want you to. I wanted you to be right. You also had one that said that Susie Wiles was going to keep Donald Trump in check. How
Oh,
do you feel you did on that one?
I was right for a while, no pun intended, and then it just not even Susie Wiles can keep him under control.
Right. I wonder what it's like to be Susie Wiles.
Oh, bless her.
So it's time for predictions. And the way we're going to do this is you're going to go first with one, and then we'll bounce back and forth until we're out of predictions. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So do your first one, and then I'll go.
I mean, I don't know that this is a bold prediction, and it breaks my heart to say so, but I think John Ossoff's going to win re-election.
Oh, boy. Excuse me. I got to go take a couple Pepsid real fast.
Don't take too many.
Why do you say that?
I just think it's he's done a good enough job of staying away from the more radical elements of his party, and I kind of maybe this bleeds over into another prediction, but I think this is just going to be a status quo election in Georgia, at least. I think things are what you see today is about what it's going to be like come the day after Election Day.
Oh. I'm having a hard time because our candidates seem to not be making progress. You know, we've got Buddy Carter, who people forget Buddy Carter's running right now. Now it's a long time until the primary. I mean, maybe he just completely ramps up in the next couple, I guess, starting couple weeks.
Yeah,
he's got some money to spend, right?
Sure.
Then you have Mike Collins, which is a whole other animal.
We could do half a show on what's going on in Mike Collins' world now.
Yeah, and last week we were going to talk about Brandon Phillips because Brandon has left the office to go work on the campaign, and there were ethics charges brought, or an ethics violation or allegation, and I actually went and spoke with Brandon about that to get his perspective on it. And then shortly after that, there was a video that was released of him getting into a bar fight.
Yeah.
So
yikes.
And by all accounts, I think Mike Collins is the leader for the Republican nomination.
Yeah.
But if you don't think somebody like John Ossoff is going to be running ads of Brandon Phillips punching somebody in a bar fight.
Yeah.
I mean, which is a shame because it stops being about Mike Collins. It starts being about one of his staffers.
Yep.
I'm having a hard time disagreeing with you, but I want you to be very wrong.
Yes. Me too. Me too.
But that's not what we do here. These predictions are not what we want to see happen. It's what we think will happen based on reality. And my first prediction is that Colton Moore, who qualified today to be a candidate for Marjorie Taylor Greene's 14th congressional seat that she vacated midterm, will not serving Congress.
Oh, I so hope you're right.
Now, I will just add one little piece of flavor to that. State law in Georgia says that if you are going to, once you qualify for an office, to run for an office, that's term overlaps your current term if you're an office holder like state senate
Yes.
by more than 30 days, you are considered to have vacated your seat. So there is
Yes.
no resignation necessary. It will be interesting tomorrow to see if Colton shows up and tries to get into the chamber.
Yeah, what I heard a rumor, you might have heard it too, maybe it was in the Signal chat, I can't remember, that Colton Moore's attorneys, and he made it very clear that Roy Barnes is not his attorney. That his attorneys, Colton Moore's that is, have found loopholes that allow him to continue to serve. I don't think so.
I will just say to the doorkeepers in the Senate, be careful.
Exactly. You might find yourself.
He might flop on you.
That's right. We might have the great flop version 2 here, and a doorkeeper in the Senate in trouble this time instead of a staff member in the Speaker's office.
Yeah, I saw him walking down the hallway yesterday, and he said hello to me, and I said good luck. But the thought crossed my mind: I should really keep a 6-foot buffer between the two of us, because pull out my phone and record me walking by him so he doesn't flop on the floor and make some sort of accusation that I accosted him somehow.
Always
it
a
actually
possibility.
Crossed my mind that I should do that.
Well, I think it'll be interesting because we were talking about it before the show. Qualifying ends tomorrow midday. Thus far, there are 19 candidates who have qualified. I think one Democrat and one independent. The rest of them, or maybe a libertarian.
There's a libertarian, a Democrat,
and an independent. Sorry, so that's 3. So that means
now 2 Democrats.
Okay.
One independent,
so that means
and 1 libertarian.
15 Republicans.
Yeah.
So who of those folks are going to emerge on the Republican side to challenge Colton? Because this name, at the moment, it's a name ID race, right? So Colton's got it. Who else has the money and ability to climb up there and grabs folks' attention? Here in 2 months, we got 2 months. March 10th is the election, right? The first, there'll almost certainly be a runoff.
Yeah, one of my former colleagues, I don't think you serve with Kim Pullen, but Kim Pullen is now County Commissioner of Pike County. He's former state representative. I served with him for a term.
I know Ken.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a Patreon to the podcast.
Yep.
He's on a separate podcast that he hosts with David Roberts, and he was talking about Brian Stover, and they were the two of them together in the podcast talking about Brian Stover, and David had mentioned he thought that Stover was the leader, even over Colton Moore. He lives in that congressional district. He says the signs have gone out all over the place. So
wow.
I don't know. I don't know anything about any of these candidates. I don't get to vote there.
Yeah.
I was asked today, are you running? I was like, no. First of all, I'm in the 11th. And they're like, well, you don't have to be. I was like, I know that. But listen to me now. The days of my name being on a ballot are over. All right. What you got for your second one?
Okay. Second one, I sort of hinted at it, but I think Republicans are going to hold the governor's mansion. I'm not making any prediction as to who that person is. Okay. We'll let that play out. But I think Republicans are going to hold the governor's mansion. They're going to hold lieutenant governor, attorney general, etc. I don't really foresee any upsets on and any of the constitutional officers or governor, lieutenant governor, etc.
So not so bold as you and I agreed this. We don't want to predict who's going to win nominations.
Yeah. Yeah, because we both have paying jobs that involve getting along with whoever wins.
In transparency, we have to work with whoever wins.
Yes. And honestly, look, I like all these people. The names that are all out there running for all these, I like all of them.
I've had a conversation with all of them except for Derek Dooley. And I have not been disappointed in the content of any of the conversations I've had with any
Right.
candidates.
They've all got good ideas, and they're going to emphasize different things, and they're going to draw contrasts with each other, and make it it probably get pretty nasty
Yeah.
in some of these races, but still.
Okay. So my second one is that Democrats will learn that if they just flatter Trump, they can get all of their economic policies passed into law.
Well, you speaking of our Signal chat, you pointed out something. Trump, of course, has now embraced this cap on a 10% cap on credit card interest, and lo and behold, there was a piece of legislation introduced about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
By
well, let me set this up even further before you get to the punchline on this, because I took his Truth Social post, and I said, explain to me how he isn't a big government Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, I have been very critical of Trump over tariffs, and that we haven't hidden that.
Right.
And every time I talk about tariffs, somebody will inevitably come along and tell me that I have Trump derangement syndrome. I have now begun to believe that Trump derangement syndrome works both ways.
Yeah. What do you call it when you just embrace everything that he does? Trump embracement syndrome. I don't know.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah. Yes.
It's because you have forfeited your typical conservative values. Now, when I posted that, I got feedback from dozens of Republican activists across the state saying, well, he's not. This is great. This is awesome. Mm-hmm. And one of them, I was very bold, and I said, well, if you think this is great, you agree with AOC, Bernie Sanders,
mm-hmm.
and Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
And that person responded to me, I really resent that. Okay. I have put my name on a ballot. I've been elected. While I was in office, I fought for limited government. I fought for free markets. I fought for conservative causes. It cost me money. I have bled for the conservative
mm-hmm.
cause. Literally, I've been injured. I've lost influence with friends that I've had for a long time because they thought I've gone off the deep end into the conservative loony bin pool, when all I was trying to do was reestablish a constitutional form of government. That's been my goal. My mission statement when I was in office, and I would campaign and I would knock on people's doors and they'd ask me, why are you running for office? And my mission statement was to shrink the size and scope of government and get it out of your life as much as possible. I have not abandoned that.
Right.
To this day.
I think a good test in these type of situations, Scott, is replace Donald Trump's name with Barack Obama and say Barack Obama today proposed a 10% cap, that the interest rate on credit cards be capped at 10%. What would your argument be against that piece of legislation? And if that argument aligns with then generally accepted conservative principles, then Trump has strayed from conservative principles on that. Well, and you can make that you could do that on tariffs, you could do that on this, you could do that on a host of other things. Now, let's not say, there's a lot of stuff he's done I like.
Right. Well,
including,
and we'll get to that in a second.
Including taking over Venezuela. But
you said treat it like a Barack Obama, but you don't have to be hypothetical in this scenario.
No.
Because I found the legislation.
Yes.
The legislation was introduced in the United States Senate on February 4th, 2025. For those who can't do math, that was 11 months ago. 11 months ago, the socialist United States Senator named Bernie Sanders introduced a bill that would cap credit card interest rates temporarily at 10%. Now, if you resented me for telling you that this was a Bernie Sanders idea, don't shoot the messenger. I'm sorry, your house is on fire and you're asleep. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to let you burn, or am I going to try to wake you up? What's the responsible thing to do? I'm going to try to wake you up. Wake up! Wake up! This guy is not a conservative. He has no ideology that you can pin down. It's in the moment.
Well, right, and that's why we've seen things like, it's a national security problem for NVIDIA to sell its awesomely superpowered chips processors to China because we in America want to win the race, win the AI race. But then Trump cuts a deal and says, "Yeah, you can go ahead and sell them to them as long as we get a bunch of the profits."
Right.
Or we're taking a stake in XYZ company. What was the thing that was floated out the other day? They're considering nationalizing the oil companies. What the heck? I mean,
telling the defense contractors they're not allowed to pay dividends.
Yeah.
Capping. Listen, tell me this isn't an Elizabeth Warren idea.
Yeah.
Capping executive pay for corporations.
Yeah. Well,
this is Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders' dream come
it's
true.
a twist on that. They told me if I didn't vote for Trump, socialism would run rampant through our economy, and they were right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So anyway, Buzz and I have engaged over time in the long-standing tradition of criticizing the American president regardless of party when they stray from principles that we held dear. That, especially me, I won't speak for you, Buzz, but for me, I remember criticizing George Bush for No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
Back in those days. And
I remember criticizing him, and a guy got super mad at me. His bailout plan when the financial crisis hit.
Right. So we always will engage in criticism of the American president, regardless of party, when they stray from things that we think they should be closer to conservative principles.
Right.
It doesn't mean that we don't support him at all.
Right.
And there have been plenty of opportunities here. Jason and I used to fight over when I would support Trump on this podcast when he was on the regular.
Yes. Yeah.
And it caused tension between Jason and I at times because he really thought I was only saying what I was saying because I'm a Republican. But no, I really do believe some of the things that Trump has done is great, not the least of which have been his Supreme Court appointments.
Yeah.
Which are likely tomorrow going to rule against him. But he's done great with those appointments. He's done tremendous things.
Yeah.
It's not everything is bad. But come on. Are we really going to turn the Republican Party into a bunch of lemmings that think that the government should and can and will control the economy this way?
Yeah.
Look,
it won't work like they hope it will work.
It won't. There's American history is riddled with examples of unintended consequences for well-intentioned ideas. And
yes.
Let me tell you what happens if we actually get something done where we're capping 10%, right? I fact check me on this. If I'm wrong about this part, I want you guys to go into the comments and tell me I'm wrong. Okay. The profit, total dollars of profit for Delta last year was around $7 billion.
Mm-hmm.
They got a $7.5 billion licensing fee from American Express. So all of their profit came from American Express licensing fees.
Wow.
Okay? The very first thing that goes away, if you lower interest rates, the very first thing that goes away are rewards programs because they're the lowest hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. They're a cost center for the credit card companies. They go away. Delta is no longer a profitable company overnight.
Yeah.
Which means higher prices.
Ticket prices go up.
Yes. In order for them to begin making a profit, they're going to increase
the
prices or layoffs. One of the two. But that's the first thing that goes away. No more Discover cashback. No more rewards, air miles, rewards points, your Capital One, all that stuff gone. Okay. The second thing that happens is if you are a new credit card user, you're going to have to come up with a stack of cash to secure your credit card.
Right.
Credit cards are unsecured loans.
Yeah.
So there are tons of defaults. Defaults, by the way, continue to increase. not because just the interest rates, but because people are having a harder time paying them because of the affordability hoax, quote unquote. So those folks are going to have less access to credit. Now, I am of the opinion you should not go into credit card debt. I have credit cards. I use
Dave
them
Ramsey agrees.
right,
Yes.
and I have become a disciple of Dave Ramsey's world of finance. It wasn't always that way.
But for a lot of people, it's sad that it is this way. That is their
emergency
major.
cushion.
Exactly.
So they no longer.
That's how they get by month. That's how they get by month to month.
Right. The other thing that will happen is only people that'll be able to get a credit card are people with credit scores over 800. Because everybody else under 800 credit score is too much of a risk for an unsecured loan.
Right. Because this is the thing. The interest rate is not arbitrary. It might seem that way, but it's an expression of risk.
Right. That's exactly right. So then what happens is a lack of liquidity in the economy. Now, this might solve some of our inflation problems, but double-digit unemployment is almost guaranteed.
Well, pawn shops will be the big winners because everybody's going to go hawk their stuff.
And that's the last aspect. Pawn shops, unregulated loans, going to your neighbors,
payday loans,
loans. All of these things explode because people will no longer be able to have quick and easy access to swiping a card.
Right.
And they will, look, I had a major unexpected expense last month. I whipped out my Amex, my Delta Sky Miles card, and I paid for it without even thinking, knowing that in my next paycheck I could pay it off.
Right.
And I probably didn't have to do that, but Sky Miles.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm going to go ahead and float, right, and this is
right.
The way I use credit cards now is I'll do my expenses at the end of the month. I pay myself
pay it
back.
off.
Right.
Yep.
So because that's the type of credit card user I am, I'm actually not a very profitable credit card user. Even though my credit score is really high, they're probably going to cancel my cards because I don't carry balances.
Right.
So I won't have access to that anymore. And all you're doing is, you look back at American history, the greatest debate and one of the great debates at the beginning of our country was the Hamiltonian view of debt and keeping the economy moving. He would look at our debt today and say we're crazy.
Yes, he would.
But he's not going to. He would not approve of the level of debt that we have today. But he talked about debt as a necessary tool to create liquidity in the economy, and you're going to dry that up overnight.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's destructive, if you don't think your neighbor is going to be out of a job, if you don't think you're potentially going to be out of a job, you're not seeing clearly.
Yeah. Here's
Something
the problem.
Has tainted your vision.
Here's the problem, Scott. Everything you said is absolutely right. I agree with all of it. It's probably an 80-20 issue. You and I are in the extreme minority. This bill might actually pass.
And I get it, right?
Congress, who can't do anything, might actually pass this bill.
Elizabeth Warren announced yesterday that Donald Trump called her and said he was willing to fight for her bill. But stop giving me crap. Stop giving Buzz crap when we point this out. We're just the messenger. And we're not I'm not abandoning my conservative principles, regardless of who's in the White House.
Right.
I've never done it before. I've lived under several Republican presidents, and when they have strayed from what I think are really important conservative principles, I've said something. I'm not going to stop.
Right.
And it's not my fault that we are adopting Bernie Sanders' bill from 2025.
Right.
It's not my fault that I pointed that out to you. Anyway, that's my second one. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the rest of them.
Peach Pundit has an anonymous Patreon who would like to invite you to learn more about the Alzheimer's Association. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. No one should fight Alzheimer's alone. With your help, no one will. Learn more on their website, alz.org.
All right, Buzz, lead us off. Give us number 3.
Okay, here's one, and I guess you hinted at it. We might know tomorrow if I'm right or wrong, but I think the Supreme Court is going to toss out Trump's tariffs, and then the economy will explode in a good way. Trump says we'll be screwed. I think the opposite will happen. I think our economy will just be unleashed and prosperity will flow, and then he'll take credit for that. But
So this was actually my 4th prediction. That
okay. We're
tariffs would
thinking
be
alike.
declared illegal. But I'm going to add one more caveat. I'm going to piggyback onto you and say, but the feds will try not to pay them back.
Yeah, okay. Well, even if they don't, I think they should. But even if they don't, I think that the economy will boom, because a lot of the fundamentals, you listen to economists talk, a lot of the fundamentals are pretty good in our economy.
Depends on which economist you're looking at, because they just downgraded every job report for 2025. All 11 months of data, they reduced the number of jobs created. It's actually negative 600 and something thousand jobs now.
Yeah.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics went through their machinations in 2025, or they got the head of BLS got canned for data like this, but they just downed every single month.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. It won't be instantaneous. It'll take a little time.
Right.
But and I guess the biggest thing will be investment will start to flow. Money that's been sitting on the sidelines, money that's been socked away in mayonnaise jars will come out and start investing.
And I've been saying, I've supported many of the Trump economic policies until this credit card thing has just blown my mind, except for the tariffs. And I have said, I think this economy would be absolutely blazing if we didn't have tariffs. But be mad at me, those who have TDS. Be mad at me. I don't care. I do care, but I wish you weren't mad at me. I wish you to see the light. I want you to wake up. My next one is that the Republicans nationally take it on the chin during midterms. Unless tariffs get repealed and the economy takes off. But I'm having a hard time seeing the path to victory. There's, at this point in time, a majority of 1 in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
You talked earlier about Georgia's Senate situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we picking up? Where are we going to win?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think maybe, but that could get wiped out by California redistricting for the Democrats in Illinois and Virginia. Virginia, man, the voters of Virginia are going to get it good and hard soon, because they're going to redistrict, and they are going to hammer the Republicans. So I think this,
in Virginia, they have an independent redistricting committee.
Yeah, they've tossed it out, or they're going to toss it out once they're all sworn in, and that is all. Well, I was talking to my brother-in-law who lives up there now. This is what he's telling me, that Republicans are going to get pounded in the redistricting process in Virginia.
Well, I know I'm a ray of sunshine right now. Right?
I think I think you're probably right. The counterbalance to that is that there was a poll today. People have a negative view of Republicans. They have an even more negative view of Democrats, and that has persisted. And so if the economy turns around, then, what do people do? They might decide, all right, the Democrats are still too crazy. And I know, I don't want to get into a whole thing about the tragic situation that unfolded in Minneapolis. And, maybe the ICE officer was a little trigger happy, but it's just insane to me that these large groups of people are out there throwing snowballs and getting in the faces and trying to use their vehicles to block ICE agents. You could disagree with the policy all day long. There are methods and ways to go about making a change to those policies and how they're implemented, not by quote unquote putting your body on the line, which are what all these people think they're doing, putting their bodies on the line. And I just think, God forbid more tragic things like that happen. That's just going to further remind voters of why they put Trump in there, because they thought the Democrats in large part were just too daggum crazy to be elected.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays
Yes.
out. You're next.
All right. I'm going to go foreign policy here. Humongous things are happening. We hinted a little bit about Venezuela. If folks haven't been paying attention, because it's not getting much media coverage here in the United States yet, but we're now, I think it's 16 days of massive protests in Iran. CBS reported today that as many as between 12 and 20,000 Iranians could have been or have been killed by their government, who's just opening fire on these protesters. I think the regime is going to fall this year. The Iranian extreme Islamic regime run by the Ayatollah and the mullahs is going to fall this year, and that will be a momentous moment in history, quite frankly.
On the Peach Pundit Signal chat, I shared a tweet from a reputable source that said that the Ayatollah is making plans to relocate to Russia.
Yeah.
So I think, the momentum certainly feels that way, but it's really hard to tell what is propaganda and what is actually happening.
Oh, that's absolutely true. And the AI videos are flooding the airwaves. But I think there's enough reliable information that this is a massive, massive thing. There was an article in the Atlantic. It was paywalled. I could only read the first couple of paragraphs, but the authors they had written a book on the subject of why do governments fall. They identified 5 things that kind of when a regime like this, when these 5 things are present, the regime is going to fall. And all 5 of them are present in this. And there's things, I don't remember all 5 of them right now, but it's things like the economy is in terrible shape, which it is. Their money has collapsed. That was one of the things. And I forget what the name of the Iranian money is, but it's literally like 1 million of those to $1 US. That is the exchange rate. It's just insane. So imagine, like, it takes $7,000 to go.
Real.
Yeah.
All right.
So the real, the real. So imagine it takes like $7,000 to fill up your gas tank. That's the kind of thing we're talking about there. So, and there's several other things that lead to this. All of those are present in Iran right now. And to his credit, we just took Trump to task. To his credit, he has issued threats saying, don't shoot the protesters or we'll get involved. And there's evidence that the president earlier today said Iran apparently reached out and said, hey, let's talk. We'll give up our let's negotiate on our nuclear stuff. And the president today said, nope, cutting you guys off. Expect action to happen. So I don't know what they're going to do, but just the fact of the president of the United States saying to the protesters, continue, the United States is behind you and we're coming.
I don't know.
Could be enough
because the Iranian government is controlling the media flow.
Well, Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk has put Starlink in there, and kudos to him.
Right.
They're going around hunting it, but it's I think enough information is getting in and out of Iran that folks know. Still millions of people a million people take to the street of Tehran last night.
You need 1 million Iranian rial to make 92 cents currently as we speak.
That's just insane. It's insane.
Yeah. The world should take note. And for those of you who think I have TDS, pay attention. The world should take note that when Donald Trump tells y'all He's telling y'all.
Yeah.
Right?
Maduro didn't listen.
Maduro, in a moment of bravado, said, "This is where I'll be. Come get me, you coward."
They
Within
did.
a week, he was in New York City.
Yeah.
I'm
In
just
shackles, in prison.
saying. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Okay? Maybe the Ayatollah should stop shooting his own people.
Yep.
All right, here's my next one. The collective bargaining agreement for Major League Baseball expires on December 1st, 2026.
Mm.
There will be a lockout, extended
Oof.
strike, and we may not even have baseball in the year 2027.
Oh my gosh, Scott, that would be such a colossal, idiotic thing because baseball's struggled with ratings in the last couple of years, but this last season,
actually, ratings have been up.
yes, you're right. The postseason, especially for baseball, was just great.
Yeah, but across
But
the board,
so don't screw it up, guys.
And the reason for that, honestly, is the thing that everybody hated when it was first pitched. No pun intended. The pitch clock
Mm-hmm.
has made a game watchable again.
Yes.
I did, as a baseball purist, I was like, this is garbage. And then I was on opening day, the year that they laid it out, I was at opening day in Cincinnati for a Reds Pirates game. And I was like, holy cow, it's already the 7th inning. Like,
yeah,
this is amazing.
But the game was like 20 minutes or so shorter just that first season. I don't know what it was last season, but
yeah, it continues to be that way.
Yeah.
But it makes the game more watchable.
Yeah.
And so more people are, in fact, watching it. And frankly, Major League Baseball has some fantastic stars. Obviously, Ohtani is a generational, once in a probably millennium type of player. He's exciting to watch, whether he's pitching, fielding, hitting, it doesn't matter. He's that guy. He hit a home run in the playoffs against the Reds. I don't think has landed yet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
When it cleared the fence, it was still the blackness of night was still behind it. It had not begun to drop into the stands.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, wow. You know, but Major League Baseball has some real problems with balance, with parity.
Yeah.
You know, my team is a small market team. They act like they're a bunch of cabbage salesmen. That's a joke because they are. But they act like they're not allowed to spend money.
Yeah.
You know, and that the value of that franchise has gone from $250 million. They bought it for $250 million 20 years ago. It's $1 billion franchise.
Yeah.
And they're not spending any money.
Yeah.
And then you have the Dodgers who go out and spend $750 million on one player, and then they don't pay any of it until years into the future.
Yes. It's insane.
That type of stuff needs to be off the table. If you're going to outspend your small market teams that way, you have to pay your players today.
Yeah.
This deferring garbage is killing everybody that are not LA, Chicago, and New York. If you're in those markets, you enjoy 3-4 times the audience size.
Yeah. And virtually unlimited payrolls. So I mean, the salary cap is a joke in Major League Baseball.
There is no salary cap in Major League Baseball, which is why there's going to be a stoppage because the owners, they have to have one. I mean, look, say what you will about NFL salary cap. It's complicated as heck. It's hard to explain, but there's a salary cap, and every year it seems like there's a new team that's making a run.
Right.
And that's better for the sport when you can share the ability to win than having the exact same team over and over again. With all due respect to the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm really glad they didn't make the playoffs. But that being said, that parity is what makes it exciting. Look, my team hasn't won a playoff game in my child's lifetime. In my oldest child's lifetime.
Who's that? The
Reds.
Back to baseball.
They haven't won a playoff game.
Yeah.
My son does not know what it's like to see a genuine competitive Cincinnati Reds team. So, like, you're shrinking the fan base.
Yeah.
By not allowing these teams to develop younger fans who know what it's like to have a winner.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a shakeup. So,
well, yeah, that you're probably right. I hope they're wrong. I hope you're wrong, because baseball has so much positive momentum. They should be able to come together to an agreement to keep the good times going, and pay the players exceedingly well, which they will continue to do, and restore some of the competitive balance. Because you're right. I mean, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, those are great baseball towns with tremendous, Seattle even, great baseball towns with great histories that need to be preserved and allowed to flourish. Moneyball can only take you so far, right? So,
and the arbitration, 4 years of minimum salaries followed by arbitration years, I think is not healthy for the players financially either. So the players will definitely strike over the salary cap stuff. But
yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, but that's my prediction. There will be a lockout, and it may be so bad that we don't have baseball in 27, which to me is just going to be painful. I don't know what I'm going to do in the summer months. But
right.
Do you have any more?
Yes, I'll give you one more.
Okay.
So college football playoffs are wrapping up Monday night. Miami takes on Indiana for the college football national championship. So I'm going.
Hoosiers.
What? No, man, Hoosiers. Come on, man. The Canes. We got to go with the Canes, man.
Why?
Come on.
Why?
I was born in Miami. My dad is a graduate of the U. My aunt and uncle played in the band there. So
I hope they lose on a last-minute field goal that goes wide right. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say, Georgia fans are kind of salty. They are. You were upset with them about cheering for Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. I don't know many Georgia fans who are. I'm seeing a lot of hostility toward Carson Beck.
Yeah, which was my point, right? It's like Georgia fans. There were, when the Bengals and the Rams played in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, there were a couple of players from UGA on the Bengals roster, but you all told me, we're with Matthew Stafford. He's the dog. He played for Los Angeles.
All right, so here's my
not supposed to root for Los Angeles.
Here's my prediction. Georgia's they'll be back in the playoffs again. So will the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We were knocking on the door this year, and I know, I have on Twitter, I declared war. Sorry, Todd Jones, but I declared war on the Florida Gators because they stole our offensive coordinator and our quarterback and a tight end and a wide receiver and who knows, almost all our offensive staff. I mean, good gracious. But nevertheless, Georgia Tech, I believe, I'm predicting, you heard it here first, is going to make it into the 12-team playoff next year.
Oh, hope springs eternal. Hope springs eternal. You gotta love the loyalty that Buzz has to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. It's kind of cute. I don't know if that'll be true or not. Just because it would make Buzz happy, I hope it comes true. Buzz and Burt Reeves, wherever you are, my two favorite Yellow Jackets, and Mike Dudgeon. I guess I have a lot of
Ken Pullen
friends.
Yeah,
Ken Pullen. I hope you're all very happy. I want to make all my friends happy. Some of my friends are for it, and some of my friends are against it, and I'm with my friends. What they used to say. All right. Since you took my tariff one, I'll throw one bonus in, and that is we're not taking ownership in any way of Greenland.
Yeah, good.
In 2026, I'll reserve whether or not I redo that in 27.
Look, I mean, here's why I think you're right. I think what will end up happening, first of all, the people of Greenland don't want to be Americans. They're from Greenland. They like the relationship they have with Denmark right now. Mm-hmm. So what they should do is, Trump loves cutting deals. Cut a deal to whatever it is that he wants. Their natural resources, more military. Sure, cut deals. The Danes would be happy to do that, and the people of Greenland, I'm sure, would much prefer that than becoming the 51st state, which that stupid bill was introduced by Randy Fine introduced this bill. Why do you want to hand the Greenland immediately to Democratic senators and a Democratic member of Congress? Because that's what will happen.
Yeah, this is when we talk about American expansion, especially from European country that is used to things like socialized healthcare.
Yeah.
You're not getting Republicans elected there.
No.
Especially if you try to take them by force.
Yes.
Just saying.
Exactly.
Let's not tip the scales of the Electoral College, shall we? We have enough problems.
Let's don't.
Any more, or is that it?
Let me see. I jotted down some other things. Well, I'll toss this one out. We don't have to talk a lot about it, but I think Putin's on his last legs, and I think I won't say he'll be gone in 2026, but he'll be close. He'll be close to being gone, one way or the other. It doesn't normally end well for Russian dictators.
Again, I hope you're right. This is not so much a prediction, but I do want to get your take. Did you see the Senate unveiled their plan to eliminate the state income tax?
I did. I didn't read the whole report, but I got the gist of it.
Yeah. So it's not an immediate.
Right.
Right.
Over time, quite a while.
Several. Yeah. Take several.
2032, I think, is when it would be fully played out.
Immediately, income earners, individual income filers, income tax filers who make $50,000 less would see their income tax reduced to zero.
Mm-hmm.
For couples filing jointly, that would be $100,000. The first $100,000 of household income would be taxable. So if you make $101,001, that last dollar would be taxed at the 5.3 or
whatever we're at now,
19 or whatever the rate is now.
519. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 519. I think I was part of the crew. I know I was part of the crew that cut it the very first time, the income tax rate. So you would only pay a nickel for that dollar, that last dollar.
Yep.
Not a bad deal, right? So the question has become how they're going to pay for it. And I thought this was interesting. One was using some of the surplus that they have currently, at least early on.
Mm-hmm.
But they very explicitly said, if we only cut 10% of the special interest tax breaks, it pays for
it. Yes, that's where the fun begins, right?
You will recall, dear listener, that the Georgia Public Budget Policy, what is it?
GPBI, Georgia GBPI, Georgia Budget and Policy Institute.
Right. You'll recall that the media went nuts when it was announced the Senate was going to look at ways to try to eliminate the income tax. And they said, the only way to do this is to double the sales tax and tax groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I told you, Buzz and I told you, dear listener, at the time, let's wait to see what they come up with.
Right.
Because it's not the only way, but the left thinks that that's the only way.
Yeah. Now, I have heard some folks who are skeptical that the math is mathing here in that plan. And I think, we'll have to, I'm all for it. I've been philosophically, I've been all for it because I've been a fair tax guy since day one, right? But, I think we just need to sharpen the pencils and make sure this all works right. But I think phasing it out over time, that's what Mississippi is doing, would be a good thing. And look, let's say they don't get to zero. Let's say you wind up with a tax rate of 2%. That's pretty daggum good. Okay.
Yeah, but not only that, but think about it. What it's like if you're under $100,000, you don't pay income tax at all under this plan.
Right.
So if they get to 2%, you would have to make over $100,000 before you paid that 2%.
Right. Yeah, because I think the point about getting rid of it's going to be a big political fight to get rid of all those special interest tax breaks because, I mean,
they don't have to get rid of them all. They can just lower them, every single one of
Right.
them, by 10%.
Yeah. So that's still going to be a huge fight because every one of those there are lobbyists employed to fight it. There are constituencies behind every one of those that benefit from them.
Sure.
So that's why I think it's going to be a big fight. I'd say let's have it. I think we should have done it. You know, y'all have heard me mention this before. When I first got elected, it was on the heels of Governor Sonny Perdue had put together a blue ribbon panel. Their plan was get rid of a bunch of the tax credits and cut the income tax. Back then it was 7%, wasn't it? Cut the corporate and personal income tax down to 3%. And that thing landed with a thud and never saw the light of day.
Now, here's the problem, right? This is a Senate initiative. Revenue bills are supposed to start in the House.
Yes. The House wants to tackle property tax reform.
Right. We have,
which I'm sure your local county commissioner will have thoughts of, and city councilman will have thoughts about.
I'm sure they will. But you have two groups of great conservatives looking at ways to give tax relief.
Yes.
One in property tax. I don't know all the details of that one.
Let's do it all.
And I was watching the Senate's committee hearings, and I watched the last one where Chairman Tillery gave the presentation where he talked about we're gonna cut. You know, if we cut just 10%, you can do away with a few of them and get to that 10% number and keep the rest of them whole.
Mm-hmm.
That's an easier fight to have.
Yeah.
Or you can cut them all across the board at 10%, and some of them are not capped, so you would have to create
yes.
a cap.
Like the film tax credit. Film tax credit is not capped.
Tax credit is not capped, but there are some that are, and so there's all kinds of ways. But the point is this: when GBPI or GPBI, the lefty think tank in Georgia, GBPI said, "Oh, these irresponsible Republicans want everybody to pay more in sales taxes." It gets everybody riled up, like, "Oh, we don't want to end the income tax," but Republicans are looking at ways that if you make less than $100,000 in your household, you're not paying any income tax at all, and they're not
Scott,
going to make.
I'll point out that's the exact same thing that GBPI said in their testimony to Governor Perdue's Blue Ribbon Panel on tax reform.
Right.
The exact same thing. They haven't changed their message in 16 years.
So, at Peach Pundit, last year we started this segment where we talked to legislators throughout the legislative session called What's Your Bill? And I hope to have Blake Tillery on in the near future so we can ask him, what's your bill? And he can walk us through, and we can ask him all these questions in the comments.
You can ask him, who's his house sponsor?
That's a legitimate question, though. Right?
Yes.
If Scott Turner was in the House, it'd be Scott Turner. I can tell you I'd be signing up to carry that legislation.
Yep.
And I would have a field day with that. I'm sure there's a good conservative in the House that would love to be the one. You know, Emory Donahue's not running for re-election.
Maybe Emory does it.
Maybe we can get Emory to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the reality is you can have a bill that starts in the House. Yeah. And maybe they find a bill that started in the House and they gut it.
Well, that's true.
Right? So they put all their stuff into it. There are ways to slay cats under the Gold Dome. And there's lots of ways to do it. And some of them involve catfishing a bill, which is a whole other thing altogether. But just remember, you heard it here first. Just because the media tells you something and because they're repeating and echoing the left doesn't mean that's the way it's got to be.
Here's on that point. Richard Belcher pointed this out on Twitter, the retired TV guy, who's very conservative. By the way, it turns out
you never know really where they are until they retire.
He's retired, and now we know.
Yeah,
but he pointed out, and he's exactly right. The reporter, I don't remember who the reporter was for the Land Journal-Constitution who wrote that story where they quoted GBPI. They could very easily pick up the phone and call Kyle Wingfield or one of his folks at the Georgia Public Policy Foundation, who would have provided a counterbalance to the GBPI quote.
Mhm.
That would be good journalism. And
Right.
please do that next time, reporters at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Preach, bud. Preach. You have been listening to Peach Pundit, the podcast, where we are brought to you by the people who rock. The people who rock are the people who go over to patreon.com/peachpundit and sign up for any one of our tiers. Again, if you do that, you're eligible to join the Signal chat at any one of those dollar figures. And good Lord, since the last time we've met, this list is getting along. Buzz, it's awesome.
Yes, love
We're
them.
building a really cool community. We want you to be part of it. Again, patreon.com/peachpundit. Please like and subscribe. And if you see one of these cool people, tell them they rock. They are Robert Lee and her friends at Lee6 Media, Justin Wright, Adam Peffel, Tony West and her friends at Americans for Prosperity, Amy Davis. We have several anonymous contributors, including one that wants you to learn more about the Alzheimer's Association, Bethany Ballard, Bo Brannon, Colin Martin, Daniel Shaver, Elizabeth Clare, Emmanuel Hernandez, Gabe Hartwig, Jeff Cobble, Greer Howard, Hank Burnham, Harrison Edwards, Jacqueline Harn, James Hall, Jason Bankston, John Vestal, Jordan Reed, JT Marshburn, Ken Pullen, Kenyatta Mitchell, Lawton Sack, Mike Buchert, Reed Powell, Ron Daniels, Ryan Graham, Ryan Purvis, Sam Thomas, Sergio Ortega, Shannon Ferguson, Stuart Wilkinson, and Bill Werkheiser. Thank you to each and every single person who rocks.
Love you guys.
You make us possible. Without you, we wouldn't be here. You have been listening to Peach Pundit, the podcast, which is owned and published by me, Scott Turner. All the music you hear is by Jason Pye. That's Buzz Brockway. We'll catch you next week.
Go Jackets.